Hi, everyone. It's my great pleasure to take this opportunity to give you a brief introduction of our Mnova software tools for fragment-based drug discovery. My agenda is to give you a very brief introduction on FBDD first, and then I will focus on the relevant software tools we provide for quality control and the solubility test of library compounds, and for building the reference spectral databases, pooling of compounds with at least peak overlap for your sample preparation, batch analysis of the ligand observed screening spectral data, and the analysis of 2D chemical shift perturbation spectra. I will try to do a few live demos if time permits before I take your questions. As we all know, fragment-based lead discovery using NMR has been a wide used method for either high throughput or detailed hit finding and hit validation since quite a long time ago. NMR is ideally suited for detecting ligand protein binding with the dissociation constant in the micromolar and 2 millimolar range. And another good thing is NMR provide inbuilt quality control information for things like structure consistency check, concentration measurement, and binding assessment, almost all from the same sample. Among the techniques, one of the major categories is the ligand observed NMR binding spectra, which are commonly used for primary fragment screening because it does not need isotope labeling. It's not limited to the size of the receptor, etc., and you can observe proton or fluorine. So the experiments like SGD, Q1-Row, CPMG, and the orthodoxy are quite commonly used for primary fragment screening. The other category of experiments are the protein observed chemical shift perturbation spectra. This kind of data provides residual specific information, allow you to map the binding to the actual residue on the protein, and could allow you to measure the KD and do SAR by NMR, etc. Typically, there's large amount of NMR data to process and analyze in this workflow. Usually we start with a compound library. A mid-size of this kind of library would have 500 to 2,000 compounds, and that's a lot on this spectrum. And the proton detect experiments usually would take 6 to 12 fragments in each mixture to save the experimental time. And for medium-sized library, that could be 50 to 300 samples. And the primary hits takes a few days usually to acquire the data and to do the manual analysis. When you do the confirmation of the hits, usually you take single compound samples to validate your deconvolution results. That's, again, some others, more spectrum. Fluorine detect experiments is usually of high sensitivity, and the spectra are simpler. You have just one peak there. You have larger chemical shift dispersion range, so it's also become hot. Typically, you have 10 to 30 compounds per sample, and it comes to 20 to 50 samples per library. And again, that's a lot of spectra to analyze. For 2D, HSQ's type of spectra of the target protein, you would do one spectrum for each ligand to compare with the reference spectrum for higher throughput hit finding, or you do 6 to 10 titration points per ligand for titration analysis. right? So all of this would add up to hundreds or thousands of spectra to process and analyze. A lot of eyeballing, and it's time-consuming and error-prone. That constitutes a bottleneck for fragment-based drug discovery using NMR. We have been working to develop software tools to improve the efficiency of data analysis for FBDD since the past 7 or 8 years. And now we are very proud that we're providing a lot of tools for almost every aspect of this workflow. This is a map I'm showing what tools we're providing. Starting from the spectra of the fragments, together with molecular files, if any, or we provide the batch verify and batch QMR software for batch processing, quantity control, and solubility test. And using our database DB software, you can build your database of the library compound and the reference spectrum. And starting from there, the mixed design script we provide can do the pooling of compounds and give you a list of compilation of fragments. And start from there, you can prepare samples and acquire 1D observed ligand binding spectrum. And starting from there, Mnova screen can do the batch processing of the mixture spectra and combine with the reference spectra either in the database or as raw data, do the screening. And in another stage, when you do the titration spectra, we have this CSP module that does chemical shift perturbation and KD analysis. All these results, either from Mnova screen, can potentially be saved into a database through Mnova DB. And of course, the CSP analysis results can also be saved there for future data mining. So next, my focus will be on these tools and show you how they work. So first thing is quality control and databasing of library compounds. Typically, we have the 1D spectrum of your library compounds and then the molecular files. Then we want to make sure the spectra look right, so we know the compound identity is right. And then we want to make sure the solubility is big enough for the later analysis for binding studies, right? So yeah, Mnova can take different ways of your organized data, and the Mnova batch verify will allow you to tell the program where's your NMR data and how to find them, where to save your results to, and where's your structural files, like that. And you can specify a processing template for the batch processing, and then you can choose to do batch QMR together, right? You can click the QMR settings and then tell the program whether using internal reference or external references as is specified here. And then just go ahead, let it go. Then it will go through each combination of the spectrum and the molecule and do the verification. Right. The results will be something like this. You see a list of your spectral and structure combinations, and I like to play the view of all those combinations. For each spectrum, there's a color coding showing the possibility of the structure being right. And also you have details about the QMR quantitation, about the concentration, the average concentration, and the deviation, because we used up to 3 peaks to do the concentration measurement. And you click any of this, well, then you see the details that compound. Yeah, as I said, when you click there, then in Mnova, it will load the Mnova document, which include the structure and the process spectra, the peak assignment, and the QNMR details like that. Now it's a good chance for you to browse through all the data and see whether the data, the results correct or not. And usually, of course, you'll be more interested in just looking at all those yellow and red flags and see whether anything's wrong there. Right. And after this manual correction inspection, then you proceed to build your own database using MnovaDB. You connect to your server of the database, and you create a new database. Typically here you would customize a little bit to add a field to save your structure ID, which could be part of your file name, title, or comment fields, etc. Right. And this is one screenshot of more than 1,000 compound verified, batch verified. You can look at the individual ones, and then you save it in the database. In the database, you can use the record view to see the details of each record. Like here, you can see the ID and some verified quantitation, the scores of the verification, and the details, structure and spectra, assignment, etc. So that. And you can turn to the table view to see multiple records there. Okay. Yeah, so a little bit of summary of our experience using this batch verify databasing. We have done this for several libraries of around 1,000 to 3,000 compounds in that range, and usually takes some trial and error to set up the parameters to get a good process template, etc., to hide the residual water peak, etc. And then the run usually takes 3 to 4 hours to complete. We found that the tools we provide make it very convenient to browse through the results, focus on the ones with the possible problems, and make changes as necessary. There are typically a significant percent of compounds with red flags, and the problems are usually the real problems with compound itself, low solubility, low quantity spectra, and sometimes, of course, Mnova also makes mistakes, but it's easy to look at that and fix that. And of course, the database tools also make it much more efficient to manage the data. Next, yeah, I will show you how this mixture design script can be used to pool your compounds and to prepare samples. Right. The goal is to optimize the combinations of a desired number of compounds for each mixture, so that peaks within the region of interest don't overlap too much. And usually we want to have at least one non-overlapping peak for each spectrum in the whole mixture. Right? The reason is that will make the subsequent analysis of the mixture spectrum much easier. So we want to deconvert those mixtures, the compounds in the mixture. Right. The script, when you start it, it can pool compounds using the reference spectra either saved in the database, as I showed in the previous section, or using the raw data direct. Okay, you choose the command to run the script. Then you see here you have choices where the data is, and how many compounds per mixture, and what is the minimum distance for non-overlapping peaks, typically 0.04 ppm, 0.03 ppm, either for proton or for fluorine, 1D proton or fluorine. Yeah, that's from my experience. And here you say you want to look at the aromatic region only, or you can add more. Yeah, then what you want to save the results to, and you want to export to there. And you click start. Yeah, it will ask you where is your database, which database you want to use, and maybe a range of the records you want to use. And then you click OK. You will go through all of them, data, use the peaks, do the optimization using simulated linear, and get the optimized combinations. If you want to start with raw data, you can specify what the data are and how to find the data, and you can even put a processing template somewhere. Okay. Right. So from our experience, typically, for example, we tried on a library of 1,500 compounds with proton spectra. We allow 6 compounds per mixture, only looking at the aromatic regions. That's the minimum distance from the overall peaks. Yeah, we got 63 mixtures in about 40 minutes, and only 13 of them have one spectrum complete overlapping. Right. This is a little bit of a problem. We're still looking into it, but I think this is quite good. And then it has output spreadsheets that can be used by Mnova screen later for associating the mixture spectra and the reference spectra during the analysis. Okay. Right. Of course, we continue to improve the script based on our users' feedback. That's actually done recently. We get a lot of improvements. Yeah, that's the mixture design script. Next, once we acquire the mixture spectra like STD, T1O, this kind of spectra, we want to do the batch processing and do the analysis. That's Mnova screen intended for. Right, Mnova screen is a batch processing program. It starts with those type of mixture spectra. It could be a combination of them or just one kind of them. And it also takes the reference spectra either as raw data or as the data saved in the database, the reference spectra database. And it can use some process template for the batch processing. And for each group of mixture and the reference spectra, it detects the peak intensity changes and then map to the reference spectra to figure out which compound is changing, if any. And then you stack the spectra and generate reports. It gives you an overall spreadsheet of the results. It also saves the Mnova file for each sample, so you can do interactive manual inspection and manual correction, if any. Yeah, that's the workflow of Mnova screen. It handles proton and the fluorine spectra. The spectra could be from single compound or mixtures. It usually run with reference spectra, but it can also run without reference spectra. Yeah, it could use a single type or multiple types of spectra, any combination of those. And for each experiment, they could use blank sample with protein and a sample with protein and inhibitor for recovery test. Right. So that's very flexible. This example I'm showing how we run a Mnova screen of about 263 samples of STD data, and that's a total of 1,500 compound also. Mixture here has 6 compounds, and we have a lookup table generated from the mix design script. So here it tells Mnova screen where to look at the database to find the reference spectra database, and for each of the mixture, what are the corresponding reference spectra. Right. And then we tell the program how to process the reference spectra. For example, we want to normalize the intensity a bit so we can see them in the stacked spectra, and we want to ignore very small peaks, etc., etc. We tell the program where's the interest, region of interest, and tolerance of peak matching and integration, etc. And for STD, how to process, we specify for the processing template here. And we want to display different spectrum or not. We ignore small peaks as well again. And what is the threshold for a hit? So we say at least 10% of average changes, and then we say it's a hit. Right. So you let it go. It takes a few hours. Then you get a display like this showing all of those mixtures, which one has a hit, which one might have a missing compound there, etc. And then it shows a spreadsheet of all the fragments of all the mixtures with color coding of status. And then you can click on any of those rows to see the details like that. See the stack spectra of the reference spectra and the mixture spectra. All right. And you can export the details into a table like this, where you can see for each sample, you have the fragments and the status of fragments and the changes. In this case, I'm showing actually the some STD and also T1 row changes. Right. Some people might ask whether we do the recovery test. Yes, we do. We allow you to have the blank, the one with protein only, and the spectrum with protein and then competitors. So you can test the recovery rate and then tell whether it's a specific hit or it's non-specific hit. Right. So yeah, right now I want to take a brief demo of Mnova screen on just 2 mixtures, each with 8 compounds. Here we have STD different spectra and a T1 row of spin short and spin non-spin lock, the pair. So we can analyze and tell which one's changed. So which one's possible hit. Now I will switch to Mnova. And here I will start Mnova screen for Proton. Yeah, so the first page will allow you to put some general information about the screen dataset and where to save the data. And dataset here, we tell the program where's your mixture data and how to find them. Basically here I'm telling each folder, each subfolder there, and to look out the FID or SER files. So it finds 2 data sets. Each has 4 spectra. And then I tell the program what type of experiments they are and whether the content protein is blank or protein and competitor. Right. And for the reference spectra, I tell the program where the reference spectra are located, and then it does the matching like that. Here, of course, if you have a lookup table file, you can use the database. Process analysis, here I tell the program which region I'm interested in, and the scout, how to process scout, how to process reference spectra. For example, here I can tell the program to shift the peak reference a little bit so they can align with the mixture spectrum. And very small peaks, like 10% or below. And for T1 row, actually we do the normalization of the 2 spectra based on the integral range of the DMSO peaks. Right. For STD, yeah, we just do some regular processing and to pick in the spectra. And we say at least 50% of the difference references peaks must be matched to say it's a hit. And for T1 row, we say at least 20%, 25% of the peak intensity change must be met for it to be a hit. So those are the thresholds. Yeah, we click OK, and then it's going through the first sample to process the mixture spectra, and also process the reference spectra, 8 of them, and you will you pick the conclusion, you will stack them and measure the peak intensity changes, and also match the STD difference peaks, etc. And then you proceed to the next one. So now it's all kind of second mixture. Due to time, I cannot do too many of them, so I'm doing only 2 experiments here. It's already finished, and it says the first one is binding with 1 hit. The second one is also binding with 2 hits, like that. You click OK, then you will see a spreadsheet showing the status of each fragment in each mixture. Yeah, you see there is 1 hit here for the number 5, and there's also one, 2 here for the second mixture, and some is missing. Okay, so if you want to see the details, just click here, double click here, and you see the stacked spectrum of the SGD difference, the regular proton, we call it Scout, and the 2 T1 rows. And here are the 8 reference spectra of the 8 fragments. And you can, that one is labeled as a hit for fragment number 5 because there's apparent significant reduction of the intensity of the T1 row peaks here and also here. Right. And also there's SGD difference peaks that matches those peaks there. Right. And that one is missing. The red one, fragment 7, apparently because there's no peaks in the aromatic region. Okay. So details like that, yeah, you can look from here to see how much has been changed for T1 row protein spectrum. So the average intensity changes, you can look at that. So it's 43%, bigger than the 25% we said there. Right. These guys are here not because they have enough T1 row peak intensity changes, but probably due to there's plenty of SGD difference peaks that were matched. So we can look here. Yes, they're more than like 50% here. Right. And all of this can be exported into Excel spreadsheet. From here, if you click that and then choose which ones you want to display, and then you click the OK, then you will see the spreadsheet. Okay, yeah, I will ignore that step because I just had some problem with my Excel. Anyway, so I hope that give you an idea of the batch processing, and then using the tools, you can do detailed analysis. You can look at the stack spectra. You can use a lot of our tools to do manual changes. For example, if you want to change the status of that one, you can just double click there and change that one into a present, but not binding. If you think you are right, and then you click here to make sure to remember that you already manually verified this one and changed it. Yeah. Then you can save it. Okay, right. So I hope that gives you an idea about the MLOG screen for batch processing of 1D ligand observed spectrum. Yeah, in our experience, typically takes about 3 to 4 hours to complete screening of a batch of 200 to 300 mixtures. And if you use a database reference spectra, it could be faster because you don't have to reprocess many of the spectra. Yeah, the automatic results are usually comparable with some careful manual analysis results, but it's much faster. Yeah, we have some detailed comparison and discussion in our recent publication on Journal for Medicinal Chemistry as a nice collaboration with Novartis people. Right, so the tools that allow you to easily browse through the results and verify and correct them manually is also very, very convenient, and I always believe that the important part of our software. Yeah, MLOG screen has been used routinely by more than 10 companies now. We are very glad to see that. Next, I'll show this Mnova CSP chemical shift perturbation analysis. Right, so we know we use this kind of 2D spectrum to do KD measuring and to do other analysis as well. The Mnova CSP allows you to do this fully automatically, or do it manually, or like combination of both. Okay, right. So typically we have like 8 spectra stacked together with the reference spectra without ligand. And this stage, proton nitrogen spectrum stacked in Mnova. And this Mnova will allow you to display them in different color very nicely, and you can enter the ligand versus protein concentration, right? And you see as the ligand concentration increases, the peak of that residue shift to more or less in one direction until it reaches here. And we have the assignment of that peak, so now we know which residue it is from. It is in the protein. And this is the chemical shift perturbation path, as we call it. The goal is to track the change of the chemical shifts and normalize using some equation, okay, to get a chemical shift perturbation, ppm. And yeah, we measure the differences, right, and compute that for each concentration. And then we fit those changes, CSPs, to an equation like this, and to get this dissociation rate and the fitting errors, of course. And you can see a curve like that. This is all done in real time by Mnova CSP, right? And the CSP can also track, automatically monitor multiple peaks like that. And of course, in a very condensed, crowded area like this, manual changing of the manual correction of some mistracked peaks is also very important. It's very convenient to do that in Mnova. Right. So yeah, we can do this following automatic as I mentioned. So if to do that, you just open the chemical perturbation window, the panel, and you click this tool there. Then it will allow you to enter the titration files like that, which specify the concentration of the protein, the number of the reference spectrum, and the number of those CSP spectra of the first ligand and the corresponding concentration of the ligand, and also similar information for other ligand if you have any. Okay, that's the titration file. Then you specify the ligand file, which contains basically the label for each ligand you have there. And also the peaks file. This is very important. You can enter a table of the assigned residues. And of course the location of those peaks in either dimension. Right. So those are the peaks you're going to monitor. And here you tell the program where space structure. In this case, we have 17 2D HSQC spectra for 2 ligands, including the reference. Okay. And you click OK, Mnova will do the batch processing and get everything done. Okay. Please, as I said, there's 2 ligands there, so this is a good way to do batch process for multiple ligands for the same protein, of course. Right. And each of the ligand, Mnova will generate a separate document, and you can use these documents menu to switch between them to the details. And this is one of the results. You can see multiple peaks monitored, and for each peak, we have the details, including the fitting of the KD. If you double click on that peak, then it will automatically zoom in to the region, and you see the path of the peak shifts. And you can click and drag any of those peak tops to change the peak tracking path menu. And all the changes will be reflected here, be updated here in real time. Right, that's full automatic. And sometimes you don't want to do that, so you can manually stack multiple 2D spectra, and you can enter the peaks by interacting with the peaking peaks. Or you can do a manual peaking first, then use those peaked peaks. Or of course, as I showed, you can use the peak list. Right. Also, I want to mention that we have collaboration with Affinimeter for more detailed ligand protein binding studies. The CSP results we measured in Mnova can be updated to the website of Affinimeter for further analysis. So here, yeah, that's the tool there. Yeah. And of course, you can see details from here too, about what tools they provide. Next, I want to also do a very quick demo of the Mnova CSP. For here, I'm going to show you we have the nitrogen proton HSQ station spectra with 8 points for each ligand, and there are 2 ligands there. So it is advanced. We have this chemical shift perturbation, and then we have this panel, as I mentioned. From here, we can enter those titration files, which is located here, titration. That will tell the program about those 2 ligands, and the ligand file basically is the labels for those 2 ligands, and the peaks file will tell where we're going to, which peaks we're going to monitor, and the base directory will tell the program where are your data. So there's actually some 2D and 1D spectrum there. Right? It will only use the 2Ds. Right? So now if I click OK, it's going to reprocess all of those 2D HSQ spectra, stack them according to what is specified in the ligands, those information files, and then you will monitor those peaks that we want CSP to monitor, and measure the CSPs for each of them, and do the fitting. As you can see here, let me nudge a little bit, we have the general information about those experiments for the first ligand. This is the second ligand actually. The first one is already saved in another document. We can open later. And then for each of them, we have the changing of the ligand concentration and the proportion to the ratio to with the protein. And there are several peaks there that we monitor. For each of them, we already calculate the KD and the deviation. Right. If you want to see the details, then just double click on any of them. For example, if you are looking at this one, just double click there. It will automatically zoom into that region in this stack 2D, and you see that's the automatically tracked changes of the display of chemical shifts, those peaks. And I said that if you want to change any of them, just click the top and drag to anywhere you like. You might have noticed that Mnova actually does interpolation. So it's not just finding the peak top, it's actually interpolating to the real center of the peaks. Right. And if you look some others here, some of them are actually quite crowded regions, and still Mnova found the right changes of the chemical shifts. Anyway, yeah. So that's what I would show you as the automatic process and analysis. And for all of them, you see there's an average. Yeah, this is average KD, and that's the deviation for those 7 peaks we are monitoring. If you don't like any of them, yeah, just uncheck any of those, and these results will be updated. And if you want to add more peaks manually, okay, I'll show you that. So now let's zoom out and look at some regions that are interesting. Right. So, for example, if you want to monitor that peak as well, just go to the picking mode and click on that peak. It automatically tracks that. Right. That's an easier one. Let's look at another one. Like here. So if I click that one, you see I don't think it's doing right. It goes back to there instead of going direct to here, because apparently that one is closer to here than this one is. And we have a lot of tools to help you to see which is which. This will help you to look better. For example, this stacked item table. Here, for example, if I choose to show only selected some of the structure, we'll look at the first one, that's starting point, and the second one apparently is here. We agree with that. The third one, that one, right? The fourth one, okay, it's there. We also agree with that. And then what's the next one? Apparently either this one or that one. That's very helpful. So now I know it should go to here, and I can verify that by looking at the second one. Yeah, apparently goes to here, right? So with that knowledge, yeah, definitely we can change the path, such as drag to here, and also that one. Yeah, so that's the last one. And there's still one in the middle. That one should come to here. Yeah, so now we get a more plausible path of the changes. And as I can show you that this is done in real time. So you get a much better curve of those titration points. And the KD from there is this number, and with that deviation, that error. So yeah, I hope this gives you an idea of this fully automatic processing of multiple CSP data, and also you can manually correct that. Now back to your slides. I would like to draw a brief conclusion from what I just showed you. Mnova so far provide efficient software tools for processing, analyzing, and managing of animal data from almost every stage of fragment-based drug discovery. First of all, we provide tools for library compound, quality control, solubility test, and database management. Yeah, that's those tools we showed you: batch verify, database, QMR, etc. And then for pooling compound, we have this mixture design script for optimizing the combinations for your sample preparation. And then we have data processing for screening data, like SGDT1, etc. And use the reference spectra from the database or from raw data and give you the batch processing results. And then if you're using titration to this spectra, then yeah, we have CSP for this kind of batch processing, automatic analysis, plus manual correction, etc. All those results can potentially be saved into another database and for future data mining. Yeah, that's of course something we're still working in progress. Yeah, and of course, some people say I don't want to have all of them because I'm only doing a part of this job. Don't worry, Mnova can do all of these tools can work independently or even without a database. As I said, yeah, raw data, batch processing, QMR, you get the verification results, solubility test results, and that mixture design can always use the raw data and give you these mixtures. And then the raw data from the 1D protein, 1D ligand observed can also be used from the raw data, use the MNO screen, and use the raw data of the reference spectra and do get primary hits. CSP, of course, just start with the raw data of the 2D as well. Right. So you can use any of them independently or different time when you need them. However, as I said, using the flat files is not an efficient way for information management and data mining. Right. With that, I'd like to thank the many very nice collaborators we've had over the years. Jiang Yan, Wei Wan from Pfizer La Jolla, who did a very early collaboration with us on the fragment-based data analysis. Novartis, Cambridge, and especially Novartis Emerald people, Andreas and Alexandria had a lot of nice discussion, testing of the program, and many other good ideas. So we did very nice collaboration. For CSP, we also had a very fruitful collaboration with FV people. Right, in our company, we have product managers who are responsible for many of these products, and we have very efficient developers listed there. I don't think I've covered all of them, but right, they're very nice. I also want to thank you for attending the webinar. Definitely, I'm going to take questions very soon.